Hello everybody, this is the Goofsome Fox coming at you with a new review here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series concept art Sunstreaker for the Bumblebee movie. And this is a figure that's been popping up on YouTube recently, mainly because I think some targets released him before he was supposed to actually be out, which is how I acquired mine here. So, yeah, we're going to be we're going to be diving right into it here by looking at the box as usual. And as we can see here, we do have the artwork here for Sunstreaker. We still have that open box set up here. I have Transformers Bumblebee movie at the top there. As you can see, you got concept art Sunstreaker. On the side here, you got some more of that artwork, and you got his number up here as well, which is 111. On the other side, too, you have this really cool image here. This is one of the things I like with the concept series figures, is how they do this half and half, with kind of like the, almost like blueprint type of drawing at the bottom, so I think this is really cool here. On the back, you do have some shots of what the figure is supposed to look like, as well as with the vehicle mode. Underneath, you just have some random gibberish. At top, got Transformers, Bumblebee, and yeah, that is the whole box there, so we'll be taking next a look at the figure himself. So as usual, we'll be taking a look at the aesthetics of the figure here, and we're going to be starting off with the head. As you can see, it very much looks like the head of Sunstreaker from the G1 series, albeit with a bit more of a movie-esque look to it, and I think it does look like a really nice head. Really does a nice job of blending the kind of like the designs of the cartoon and the more realistic movie feel. On the torso, we do have the cab here with a nice blue, clear, transparent window here. I think this looks really nice with this kind of darkish blue. Do have an Autobot symbol on the chest there. I got some nice bulky shoulders here and some gray going across the arms. The arms are a majority yellow, same with the hands. I'm going down to the legs. Oh yeah, for the waist, you do have some gray detailing on the waist section there. But for the legs, you do have some red for this upper section here, which does go down to part of the legs. And then you have some nice silver detailing. I really like the thing they do with the Bumblebee movie, where some of the designs will have these, like, they have this boot-like feel, which I really like how they made the feet for some of these characters look like combat boots with the kind of like the little like ridges here. I think that's a really cool design choice. Moving to the back here, we do actually have a pretty clean back here. This back section with this panel that comes down. You can see some of the detailing that comes from the transformation, and you do have some hollowness with the arms here, though it's not really the most egregious thing in the world, at least in my opinion. I don't think it's too bad. And yeah, it overall does look like a really nice figure. As I mentioned with the head, it really captures the really the image of Sunstreaker. Like, you can look at this and you can tell who it is. So yeah, I think overall it is a really nice looking figure. Moving on to articulation, and this might be where things kind of get, maybe a bit weird here. So starting with the head, we are going to have some normal ranges of movement. Can go completely around. At the torso, you do have a full 360 waist swivel. On the legs, you can do a split that far, you can kick that far forward, and you can go that far back. You do have a pretty decent leg bend there. You also have a swivel up here. At the feet, you don't really have a lot of down, but you have a whole lot of up for the transformation, and then you have some side to side in both directions. Now, I did want to save the arms for last, because I believe these have a pretty similar arm setup to the Tarn figure, Legacy Tarn, that I reviewed a while back, and yeah, these arms are not really the best, at least up here at this joint. It's not like the typically what they use, and even though that was the thing on the Tarn figure, I still kind of let it slide, because Tarn figure was really good, and I think I'm willing to make the same exception with this figure here. You can move the shoulder like pieces a bit, just so you can get a bit more articulation to work with. But other than that, the arms, they can move up this far, and you don't have any hand movement either, so no like movements of the hands. So that is another drawback to this figure. But really, with the exception of the hands and the shoulders, a lot of the articulation is pretty good. Really no complaints there. I think it does a lot of what it needs to do to be a pretty articulated figure. So yeah, really cool there. Yeah, again, arms are probably going to be the only drawback, but I'm still willing to let it slide for this figure here. Now on to accessories, and we only have two of them with this figure here, that being these two double barrel blasters, which are pretty much perfectly mirrored of each other, outside of where this peg here is located, and these are pretty simple. You can just put those into the hands, like so. And there you go, you got Sunstreaker all armed and ready here. I do really like the ways that these look on this figure. Another really cool thing you can do with these as well is that those pegs I mentioned earlier, or there's really, I think these are more like tabs, but you can tab them together like this, go to the back where these two pegs are, and then you can attach this onto the back there for weapon storage. And I do think this looks really nice. This is a really clever way of having some sort of weapon storage if maybe you just don't want them to have as weapons, or you maybe just want to give them a different accessory instead. And I think it's another thing that really helps with cleaning up the back and adding some color to it. So yeah, I think that's a pretty nice thing there. And again, that is the only accessories here, so not much else to say. Really cool, does what it needs to do. And then again, the back storage I think is a really nice touch. Now, taking a look at the transformation process, there are some interesting things that this figure does. So we're going to be starting off with the legs here. So first we want to bring the feet up like so. Then we want to turn the legs so that they are, bottoms of the feet are facing each other. Now these panels here, we're going to have to give them a slight rotation, so that way we can bring them down and line them up with the feet like so. And you want to do that for both sides here. Just try to line them up, click them into place, and then you can get the bottoms of the feet and attach them together. That's going to form the front of the car here. Next thing we're going to do is that we're going to come up to the torso. We are going to untab the chest here and pull all of that out, like so. There are these small side window sections here. We need to pull these out and snap them into place. And this is going to form the cab of the vehicle. Now for this next step, we do want to slightly bring the figure forward as we tab this into place. So this is how he's going to look, kind of arched over. We want to get the head, we want to bring that down, then we want to get this back portion here, and we want to see if we can line this up with the whole top of the car. That means now we're going to be moving on to the arms here. We want to first untab this top portion, then we want to bring this forward, and there's a very specific thing you need to do here. There's a little tab here, and you want to bring that underneath the inner windshield, so that way it kind of like, you kind of see it partially tabbed in there. That is something you want to remember when doing this. The first time I tried to transform this, I kept trying to put it in front, and it would just untab the top of the cab every time. So, yeah, just something to avoid there. And then finally, the back shoulders. For this section, I think it might be because these parts I have, mine are a little stiff, but I recommend really gripping the figure's arms so they stay in place. And you want to just move those so that they are facing the back like so. And there's a little tab here. You can just tab those together so they lock in. And there you go, we have our vehicle mode. Now the vehicle mode is really nice. I do like the way this looks, and I'm going to be adjusting my camera for this portion. And as you can see here, it's not really the best at rolling. Might just depend on the surface. I've seen that some of them are not really good rollers, but that's, again, mainly just because how the wheels are designed. But just looking at the same from a design perspective, this is a really, really nice vehicle mode. I really like the Cybertronian look to it that they made for it. It also, this is a common thing I've heard describing this figure, it almost gives off Robots in Disguise 2015 vibes, which I'm not going to complain, because I did really like the Robots in Disguise 2015 show, so this is a really cool thing here. I really just like how unique the wheels are, how they're this transparent blue instead of what we typically see from the other Bumblebee figures. So yeah, I think that's a really cool thing here. And what's even cooler is that when you get our accessories, that being the cannons we looked at earlier, you can plug those into the top here. So you can kind of get the engine that the G1 Sunstreaker had when he was in his vehicle mode, which I think is a really cool thing there. You can also separate these, and then you can just attach them to the sides of the car from the side pegs here. So now he has some side blasters if you want to use them like that as well. So yeah, a pretty fun transformation with some interesting gimmicks, and also some clever use of the accessory portions. And you really don't need the accessories either. Like, if you lose these, it still is a pretty decent looking vehicle mode. You got those nice blue and black lights on the front. I really like the cab. Again, I really like this dark blue transparent that they used for it. I think it's a really, really nice look for this figure. And yeah, I think overall this is a really nice vehicle mode. Bumblebee has a lot of really nice vehicle modes, really, because they just didn't have to worry about giving him anything screen accurate. So yeah, this is really cool. I like this. And finally, bringing the camera back so we can do a few size comparisons here. Here he is next to another Studio Series Bumblebee figure, that being Wheeljack. Here he is next to another Studio Series figure, that being the first Transformers movie, Brawl. This is still one of my favorite Studio Series, by the way. Here he is next to a Mastergrade, that being the Mastergrade 1/100 scale Goof. And then here he is next to a really teeny tiny Goof. So, what are my final thoughts on Transformers Studio Series Concept Art Sunstreaker? Well, I definitely think that he is a figure worth owning. At the $25 price range, I think you would have a lot of fun with this figure, even with the few flaws that he has, as I mentioned, with the hands and the shoulders. I still think a lot of this figure is really good. It has a really fun transformation and a really awesome looking vehicle mode. And even the robot mode as well, I do think is a very cool design for a Cybertronian themed Sunstreaker. I'm not even sure if a Cybertronian Sunstreaker is something we've even seen before, so it is a really nice take on the character. And yeah, if you did already pre-order this figure, and you're getting him in at some point, so if you got him already, then I think you are going to enjoy him. And if you do see this guy in a store like a Target or a Walmart, I would recommend picking him up, because I think he's really cool, and he's also a really unique figure as well, being a concept art. Well, supposedly concept art. There's some theories going around that might not be the case for this figure. Same with the Rumble from the Bumblebee movie as well. But depending on which one it is, it still gave us a pretty cool design and figure here. So yeah, I think this guy's worth picking up, and that's going to be the end of this review here. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and maybe comment down below what you think about this figure. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.